Hello, my name is Karen Wong and I currently work with the Nature Conservancy Mexico and North Central America program. I want to share with you some lessons learned from the knowledge management assessment of the capacity building program for marine protected areas in the Gulf of California. The aim of our program is to increase management effectiveness and help abate threats to conservation in marine protected areas. The Nature Conservancy, World Wildlife Fund, NOAA, and the Mexican National Commission for Protected Areas are designing and implementing a 3-year capacity building program for MPA managers and key stakeholders. The program has five main strategies. First, developing MPA management training curricula based on capacity building needs assessments. Second, build the knowledge, skills, and resources of key staff and stakeholders. 3. Promoting a capacity building domino effect, creating a professional network of MPA managers who will serve as local capacity builders. Fourth, supporting the implementation of conservation projects. And 5. Measuring the success of the program. At the moment, we have implemented 3 10-day in-person trainings focused on planning for conservation, social participation, financial planning for MPAs, and fundraising skills. This week, we are having our 4th module focused on marine protected areas networks. We have had 110 participants, and we are currently overseeing the implementation of 8 projects related to the topics covered in the previous modules. Success of the capacity building program is being measured at different levels using different indicators and methodologies. The planning process included the development of results chains, a methodology created by Foundations of Success, which help us to identify expected outputs, outcomes, and impacts and assign indicators and methodologies to monitor progress for relevant components. In our program, knowledge gained, the output at the capacity building program, should impact MPA management effectiveness, outcome, and consequently contribute to reduce threats and ensure biodiversity viability, impact. To evaluate field impact, we consider the proposition of the Cambridge Conservation Forum, which is described in the article titled Outcomes, Not Implementation, Predict Conservation Success. This article points out that the effects of many conservation projects on target populations or habitats only become measurable well beyond the time frame of the usual project cycle and proposes an alternative approach to identify predictors of success. In our capacity building program, a predictor of success is the outcome of management effectiveness. The use of predictors of success help us to have an intermediate indicator to give us information of whether we are on the right path or not. In our case, our main goal is to protect conservation targets such as habitat, specific species population, etc. Given the fact that the impact on these targets will take a long time, we use an intermediate indicator that in this case is management effectiveness and threat abatement. In order to assess the MPAs in terms of management effectiveness, a survey was designed for MPA staff using SurveyMonkey as the survey tool. To maintain a sense of continuity, the questionnaire is an adaptation of the Rapid Assessment and Prioritization of Protected Area Management, RAPAM methodology, which has been used in official protected area system assessments. This assessment can help detect general trends rather than determine the exact degree of fulfillment. The survey was conducted in May 2010 and was answered by staff working in 12 Gulf of California MPAs. The analysis covered 2 aspects of protected area management effectiveness: inputs and management processes. Inputs include staff, communication, and finances. Management processes include management planning, management practices, monitoring, and evaluation. The average grade for all protected areas system-wide level was 26 out of 60 possible points. A similar survey will be conducted at the end of the project to measure whether management effectiveness has improved. From my experience using this assessment method to develop different layers of indicators, the use of the results chain tool was very useful for determining the specific indicators to measure the results of our capacity building program at different scales, and to demonstrate how these results relate to longer-term conservation impacts. There are 3 basic recommendations if you plan to use a RAPAM assessment to evaluate management effectiveness. First, be sure that you have a good and representative number of respondents of the survey. Second, it is ideal to have a 3-day workshop to discuss results gathered in the survey. In-person workshops could assure that the appropriate grade is given to evaluate indicators, and could enhance the learning and adaptive management process through peer review and by allowing each protected area team to validate results and internalize lessons learned. And third, once you have the results, it is very important to share them with all respondents and persons involved in the project. Knowledge management and monitoring is important for our conservation work because available resources for conservation are very limited, and we are urged to identify which conservation approaches are most likely to succeed in order to allocate resources more efficiently, and also to demonstrate achievements. Trying to evaluate field conservation impacts and link them with investments in knowledge development, capacity building programs is complex. Even when using key outcomes as predictors of success, such as management effectiveness, there's always uncertainty about the effects and the actual contribution of capacity building to conservation results. At the moment, we are in the middle of the assessment process. We generated a management effectiveness baseline for the Marine Protected Areas Network of the Gulf of California, and we will compare this with the final results that will be assessed on July of this year. Thank you very much for your interest in our case story. I look forward for learning from you and your lessons learned, and also for receiving feedback, comments, and suggestions for our assessment process.